So today we're going to talk about a super common question that I get from a lot of my students and a lot of people who are subscribed to me, and it's pretty much an age-old question of how many units should I order for my first test order. And today I'm going to break it down, go super in depth with you guys, and actually figure out how much you need to be getting. So firstly, I want to say that you don't want to make any order of less than probably around 350 or 400 units, because nowadays there are tons of things that you need to do, such as like giveaways and stuff like that, where you're going to have to give away free units and actually also give away units for reviews. So that's why you don't want anything less than about probably 350, I'd say, is the absolute minimum amount of units you want to get for absolutely any single product. Even if the product isn't selling 350 units a month, you definitely don't want to get anything less than that. Now I'll explain to you why. So let's say you order 350 units, or let's say you order 300 units, and your product comes in, probably you're estimating to sell about 200 units. The way you do that, I'll show you guys in just a second, but let's say you estimate to sell about 200 units a month, and then you realize very quickly that you need about 50 or 60 units to do a giveaway right now to launch your product, because in 2018, after the Amazon review apocalypse, there's whole new ways of actually launching these products and getting reviews and actually getting ranked on the first page. You got to give away a lot more units than you did before. So basically, let's say 60 units you're gonna have to give away. That leaves you with about, let's say 250, 260 units. And then, assuming that you're selling maybe 20, 30 a day, you run out of the product super quickly, and you don't have enough time to reorder your product from your manufacturer. And let's say you're doing super well, and it actually does take off because you actually did do some differentiations. You didn't just post up the exact same product as everyone else. Now you're kind of stuck in a position where you're not able to fulfill the demand, and what happens then is your product goes out of stock. Your bestseller rank goes down. If you guys don't know what the bestseller rank, basically it's just a rank every product is given on Amazon depending on how well it sells. So if you stop selling and you run out of stock, your bestseller rank is gonna increase, and that means if a bestseller rank increases, that's bad for the product, and means that you're gonna start dropping from the first page and go deeper and deeper, second page, third page of your results, and that is really, really bad, because then when your product comes back in, you're gonna have to give away more units again, because you will have to regain your traction that you've lost since your product went out of stock. So last thing you want to do is go out of stock right off the bat with your first order. Another polar opposite of this is people who order 1,000 units or 2,000 units for their first order, thinking that they're going to absolutely kill it. Now, I actually, for my first product, did order 1,000 units. I think looking back at it, it worked out well, because I was super confident. I had a very strong gut feeling about my product and how well it was going to sell. So I did go full out and just buy 1,000 units off the bat. But my units cost wasn't very expensive in the first place, which let me be able to buy that many units. Now, if your product is anything above $3-4 landed cost, going with 1,000 units is probably a big mistake. I'd say the sweet spot of where you want to be at, depending on your sales velocity, aka how many units you're going to sell per month, would probably be around 600, 700 units. That's probably the sweet spot where you want to be. So you guys have obviously seen we've been on a page here, barbecue grilling gloves, right? And I want to show you guys how you can estimate how many units you're going to be selling every single month. So basically, pull up your Jungle Scout, and it's going to come out with a bunch of numbers here. What we're going to do is, because obviously this is not a great example because there's very high reviews in this niche, but this is just an example that I use. But let's just pretend that the reviews aren't very high. What you're going to want to do is look at the sales category, and you're going to want to put in maybe the top 10 the top 10 products that are in this in this Jungle Scout, and then divide it, the number that you get by 10, and that's probably where you're going to be at. So in this case, I just added everything up and divided by 10. So in this case, you're going to be probably selling on 650 units, especially if you differentiate, especially if you come in with a good price point and a actually good product. So you can assume that 650 units is something you're going to be able to sell in your first month. So assuming for the launches and everything like that, I think that going into the actual product with about 650 units, if your first order is 650 units, it should work very, very well, especially because you can actually reorder it. What it takes like 20 days, 25 days to place an order with your manufacturer and actually get it shipped over. That still gives you enough time to make a reorder if you're seeing that you're selling really well. And even if you don't end up selling as much as you think you're going to sell, let's say if you think you're going to sell 650 and you don't end up selling that much, the beauty about Amazon is if you follow the formula, if you follow the steps that I have all over my channel, there's a lot of information out there. If you follow especially the stuff that I'm teaching on this channel, you're almost guaranteed not to lose money. Obviously your money will be tied up in inventory, but you will actually eventually sell through it, within 3 to 6 months at the worst case scenario. So you will get your money back. What you end up doing is just, if you put in the price, let's say, $17 like average here, and it doesn't end up selling, you lower it by $1 or $2 every single day until you hit a point where your product actually does start selling. Now, obviously, if in the worst case scenario, you might not even make a profit, right? You will be just breaking even, but your product will actually be selling. So again, if you follow everything that I have outlined in the whole, in my whole YouTube channel and everything that I'm saying to you guys, you will pretty much guarantee the fact that you're not going to lose money on your products. Now, about making money, that's a whole different situation. If you guys are listening and actually following what I'm saying, it is a formula. Every online e-commerce thing, every business is kind of a formula, and there are people have been here who have paved the road for you. So follow what they have to say. Another thing I'm going to mention for you guys is that if you do end up cheaping out on, let's say, your first test order, and you don't actually go full in and commit to your future with an e-commerce business, you're only hurting yourself, because this is a risk, this is a learning opportunity that you're going to have to take. This is one of many risks that you're going to have to take as an entrepreneur. If you're actually deciding to do something with Amazon FBA or any sort of business, you're going to have to take risks. Now, I also want to break down the whole giveaway process. Basically, nowadays, I have actually a video on it. You guys can go watch that. But you do have to give away a lot more reviews. So in the past, where you'd only have to give about 10, 15 units a day for your giveaway to rank to page 1, that's no longer the case, because you also have to give away a lot more units for getting your first 10 to 15 reviews. So I'd say about 50 to 70 units should be kept for reviews and for giveaway when you're actually placing your first test order. If you have a gut feeling that it's going to do really, really well, obviously, go higher, because I'm a big believer of, going with your gut feeling and what you actually think, especially, gut feeling plus actual analytical data that we're seeing with Jungle Scout and, every single other thing that I show on the channel. Obviously, go higher, go to 1,000 units if you really do feel that, because like I said, for myself, I was feeling it in my gut, and I was feeling it with the analytics, and everything just worked out perfectly. So go for it if that's what you feel. If you feel that your product, maybe isn't going to do as well, I don't know why you'd go into it in the first place. But I think that you'd want about, 600, 700 units for your first order. So hopefully this video answers the question that you guys have been having for me, the age-old question of how many units do I order for my first order. And hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like, comment down below how many units you're going to order, or how many units you have ordered for your first unit, and how that turned out. And remember to subscribe to the channel. Lots of great stuff coming in the future, and I will see you guys next time.